Hi everyone. I hope you are doing well. In this class, we are going to discuss about the module 4. We are starting with the next module, that is file systems. So in this module, basically we are going to discuss about the different file operations carried out by file management system. We discuss some of the important topics such as file systems and IOCS, file operations, file organizations, directory structures, file protection, interface between file system and IOCS, allocation of disk space, and also we discuss about implementing the file access. So these are some of the topics we are going to discuss in this particular module, that is file systems. Okay, students, first we are going to see what exactly the file system is or how the files are organized. So, in general, if we consider the file system is organized as a directory structure. So, if you look at this diagram, we are going to find a directory structure. Here we have the main directory, which is also referred to as root directory. So within this root directory, you can create many of the directories and subdirectories. You can create any number of directories and subdirectories within the root directory. Root directory basically is nothing but the folder. In Windows operating system, we call this as folders. But however, in the operating system like DOS and Unix, simply they are referred to as directories. So here, if you refer the example, here we have a root directory, which is like main directory. It is something like C drive, D drive, and so on. So within this root directory, you can have any number of subdirectories, and within these subdirectories, it is possible to store any number of files. So if you look at this example, we have many of the files such as beta is one file, phi file is another file, and so on. We have stored many of the files, and these files in turn may contain some records. Here we have shown the records of the file beta, records of the file say file, and so on. So during the program execution, the programs can access the contents of the files. Here, let us assume that we have processes like PI, PJ, and PK. These processes, they can access the data stored within the files. Say, for example, in this case, process PI, it is accessing the data stored within the file beta, and process PK might be reading the contents of the file PHI, and so on. So this is how, in generally, we are going to represent the file system. And the different programs, they can access the content of the files, that is, the records stored within the files can be accessed by the programs. They can be processed, and again, they can be stored back into the files. Then we have the next topic, that is file system and IOCS layers. So to carry out file management operations, here we are going to divide the system into IOCS layers and file system. To access the data stored within the file, the operating system will divide the file system or file management system as basically two layers, IOCS layer. So IOCS stands for Input Output Control System, and at the top side we find file system layer. Students, as we discussed in abstract view of the operating system, the kernel is that part of the operating system which will directly access hardware. Here, remember, the file information will be available on the disk. On the disk, you might have stored the records of the files. So whenever the data is to be accessed, that hard disk can be accessed only by kernel. Kernel is only part of the operating system which can directly access the hardware. And the IOCS layers, they form the middle layers. They access the files by using the facilities provided by the kernel layer. And the file system, it contains again mechanisms and policies by using which it can access the facilities provided by IOCS layers. Students, these layers, they contain different policies which are indicated by letter P and also contain different mechanisms which are indicated by the letter M. Policy means there are principles to be used, and mechanism means the techniques which are used to implement the policy. So, for example, as we discussed, FCFS is one policy, first come, first serve. But to implement that policy, we can use the different techniques, such as we can use first in, first out queue to implement FCFS policy. So that remember, policy indicates the principle to be used, and techniques are nothing but you can say mechanisms. So that here each of these layers, they include different policies and mechanisms to access the hardware or files. So here I can summarize as the file system and IOCS, they can form hierarchy of layers. We can summarize like this: the file system and IOCS layers, they are going to form a hierarchy of layers. Each layer consists of policy and mechanism modules. As we discussed, policy, they indicate principle to be used, and mechanism, they are techniques to implement policies. Then the file system, it is going to view file as the collection of data. These files, they are owned by the users and also might have been shared to other users also. Third, the IOCS, that is input output control system, it is going to view the file as simply a repository of data. It will view the file as simply the collection of bytes on the disk. Here we have listed out some of the facilities provided by file system and IOCS layers. The file system, if you look at, it provides the directory structures for convenient grouping of the files. The file system, it allows to create the directories for the users by using which the users can conveniently group their files. It provides protection to the files. It provide access to authorized users. It will protect the files from illegal access. It also allows some file sharing semantics. The file system will see that the files are reliably stored on the disk. The disk space should be efficiently used for storing the records of the files. Then if you look at IOCS, the facilities provided by the IOCS layer include efficient operation of input-output devices and also the efficient access to the records stored within the file. Students, these are the facilities provided by file system and IOCS. Remember, you may expect one question on this topic, such as explain the file system and IOCS layers with their functions. In that case, simply you draw the diagram, you draw this diagram, and after that, you briefly explain about the functions and facilities provided by file system and IOCS layers. The next, we are going to discuss about the types of the files. In general, if you consider any operating system, there exist two kinds of files. They are called structured files and byte stream files. So structured file, it is collection of records. Structured file, it is simply collection of records. Or byte stream file, it can be defined as collection of bytes. A structured file, it consists of records, whereas a record include many of the fields. And these fields, they contain a useful information. I'll give an example, students. Assume that you have employee record. Here it is shown in the diagram. If you look at this figure A, we have a record called employee information, which includes age of the employee, ID of the employee, name of the employee, designation of the employee, and so on. So collection of all these fields can be referred to as a record. Every employee information can be considered as a record. So for example, you assume that you have an employee whose ID is 51. Name, you might be having something like Anita as given in the example. Designation, executive, then age of the employee. This one complete employee information, we can call it as a record. However, this individual information of that employee, they are referred to as fields. Here, if you look at this example, we have 4 fields, that is ID of the employee, name of the employee, designation, and age. So these are called fields of the employee. So that's why we say that a structured file is collection of records and fields. Record, it is a meaningful information of related fields, and a field contains single data item. However, if you consider bytestream file, as I told, simply it is collection of bytes. Here it is simply like a flat. Everything is viewed as simply a sequence of bytes. It won't differentiate the information. Simply it will treat every information stored within the file as a sequence of bytes. So Unix operating system, it employs bytestream files to store data and programs. So this is about the 2 types of the files that we are going to find in the operating systems, that is structured files and bytestream files. Students, we have the next topic, again very important topic from examination point of view, that is file operations. So we can carry out many of the file operations. To carry out these operations, there exist a lot of functions in the different languages. Depending on the language, you have to use different functions. But however, their basic tasks will be simple. Their basic tasks, they are going to remain same. In general, we are going to find functions to carry out these operations, such as opening of a file, reading or writing the record, closing of the file, file creation, file deletion, file renaming, and function to specify file access privileges. These are some of the operations we are going to find. We'll discuss these operations one by one in detail. First, we have opening a file. So in generally, there exists a function called open or fopen to open the file. So when you open the file, the operating system is going to locate that file. It is going to find where exactly that file is stored, and it will find the permissions of that file. It will find the privileges of that file, whether it can be accessed or not. If it can be accessed, then it permits the program to process that particular file. The next we have reading or writing. As the name itself indicates, these functions, they allow to perform read operation from the file or write operation into the file. The program can either access the data stored within the file, or it can also write, means it can modify the contents of the file. Then we are closing the file. So in generally, when we complete the operations of the file in any of the programs, we need to close that file. So actually, close operation, it indicates the file system that the processing of the file is being completed. The processing of the file is completed, and the file system, it has to update the size of the file and even other information. So remember, closing, it indicates end of the processing of the file. So on completing the closing operation, the directory structure is updated, even the file data is updated, like size of the file is updated, or any of the records that are modified within the file, they are updated on closing of the file. The next we have file creation. So as the name indicates, here user can create the file by using this particular operation. So while creating the file, the user can specify the file privileges. Students, one who create the file, he is called as owner of the file. The owner of the file can specify different permissions to different set of users. The permissions may include like only read permission, write permission, and execute. Read means one who has read access, he can read the content of the file. One who has write access, he can modify the file. And one who is having execute access or execute privilege, he can execute the file. He can execute that particular program of the file. Then we have file deletion. As the name indicates, the file deletion, it is used to remove the file. By using this operation, the file can be removed from the directory structure. So here, when the file is removed, the data stored on the disk for that particular file will be removed by the operating system. Then file renaming we have, as the name itself indicates, it is used to change name of the file. When the file is renamed, the file system has to remember that new name for the file. Then finally, we can have operations such as specifying access privileges. We can find some functions in the file system by using which we can change the file permissions. We can change file access privileges. So once you have created the file, even after creating the file, even after a few days or few months, it is possible to change access privileges, such as you can modify read access, you can modify write access, execute access, it is possible. So to carry out these operations, again, there exist many of the functions. Students, this is all about the file operations. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you very much.